Okay, Randy's story about the baby in uterus, I have to tell this one, because it's football season. If you're a sports fan, or if you're a football fan, you know there's a huge rivalry between the University of Texas Longhorns and Texas A&M, right? Big. I mean, football's practically a religion in Texas.
It is religion.
So, a young couple, both Texas A&M alums, went to have their baby check, well, ultrasound, and much to their horror, their baby in uterus was gone. They showed the video. The doctor recorded it. So for the remainder of that baby's time in uterus, they were playing Texas A&M fight songs over and over. At the air races, we saw a guy wearing a Texas hat and Texas shirt, and I told him that story at McDonald's, actually. And at first he was like, but when he heard the story, it was like he loved me. And he was like, huh? So as we move into fall, you may have noticed how quickly our weather changed.
Mm-hmm.
Fall weather's a little dicey around here. I mean, we went 4 months without rain, and now in the last week it's been every day. Every day we're getting rain. 2 days ago, we got in the truck early in the morning and the ice was solid on the windshield. And again this morning, windshield was frozen solid. So fall is here. Yay! I love fall. It's my favorite season.
Football.
Football. Baseball playoffs. Basketball's starting. What's not to love about fall? The leaves are changing. It's beautiful. Sometimes when you're not in the city of Reno, you can hear migratory geese honking their way south for the winter. But guess what's coming after fall?
Winter.
5 or 6 months of ice and snow, and that's my other favorite season.
That's good.
It's coming, you might as well enjoy it. I was a winter baby. My favorite sports are skiing, ice skating, hockey, snowshoeing. Never been much on snowmobiling. But fall is great. There's so many rich traditions around the fall. For thousands, and I mean thousands of years, humans have celebrated fall. But what are they really celebrating? Harvest. The ceremony we had out at Denise's that Robert White Mountain was here for, it was a fall harvest, fall
Equinox or?
fall equinox celebration. And there's so much legacy of tradition around that fall, around the harvest. For farmers, for ranchers, for anybody tied to agriculture, it's the season to enjoy and slow down, but really to enjoy the harvest of God's bounty. Look out on that table out there. You talk about God's bounty. We got 5 dozen eggs, we got grapes, all kinds of stuff.
Pears.
Pears,
What else?
cupcakes.
Cookies. Let's talk about the good stuff.
They grow on a tree too.
Yeah. But fall is when things slow down. The trees release their leaves, anticipating new growth in the spring. There's a message there. For farmers, historically, it was a time to settle debts. But don't take that the wrong way. You know, that's not with a grudge, but literally to sell their crops or use their crops to pay off debts that they've accumulated, maybe for seeds, or for other food while their harvest was growing. You could argue fall harvest for farmers was just like Black Friday. It also means football, baseball, and it leads to my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving. As a kid, I loved Christmas, but as an adult, Thanksgiving's been my favorite holiday. It's all about being with friends, family, soul family, truly enjoying and expressing gratitude for our blessings. The very concept of Thanksgiving aligns perfectly with our Science of Mind spiritual principles. In fact, we even named one of the steps of spiritual mind treatment Thanksgiving. Well, at least the concept. But today we're not celebrating fall, we're celebrating something similar but better. God's bounty, which I just said earlier. And you shared so many beautiful stories, how we receive and express God's bounty. The outline for this was submitted by Reverend Suzette Wehunt, Senior Minister at the Om Center for Spiritual Living, La Mesa, California. So how we express, how we receive, how we experience God's bounty is completely up to us. The right use of the universal law sets us free. But, and this is a big but, through the wrong use of it, we once again become entangled in our own version of bondage. The source of supply is infinite. It can never really be cut off. It doesn't dry up. We just can't access it. Source is always infinite. It's always available. Source is the creative energy that's expanding, creating throughout the entire universe. There's never a point where there's not enough anything. There's no limits. Source continues, always in perfection and demonstration. However, sometimes life gets the best of us, and we become a little confused about who and what we are, about our connection to Source. Then our belief in our connection to our infinite supply gets a little murky, and it doesn't seem to function properly until we make that conscious reconnection with what's already there. We just allow, like the tree releasing the leaves, we allow anything that's creating this cloudiness, this murkiness, just release it. And then we're instantly right back connected with Source. We must be conscious and aware of the use of law, cause, and effect. Then we can keep our thoughts straight. We must also remember the eternal bounty of Spirit can be short-circuited only as far as we are concerned. Can't be exhausted, can't be depleted. Now, it's natural for us to live our lives based on past experience. That's what we know. That's what we remember. Could be, we're all products of our own race consciousness, whatever we came in with, whatever's in our Akashic records, but that's past experiences. So we depend on those to help us determine what to expect in our future. But yet, if we just let it up to Spirit, we could have a much better experience. The past is past. It no longer serves us. Not one of us is who we were 5 years ago. We were dramatically different 5 years ago, 5 hours ago, 5 minutes ago. Sharing these stories this morning gives you a little boost, a little change in energy. Changes your consciousness, your vibration. The good news is, as we talked last week, it never goes back down. It can get cloudy, but it never goes back down. So when we grow, we evolve, we can choose to continue to live in the past, or we can admit that we're part of this constantly expanding universe, and that consciousness that's changing us, and we can and should expect a new and better now. We must come to learn and love a greater source of supply, intelligence, and greater good. Releasing the past sets us free to create something better in our future now. No limits. We can create whatever we can conceive in our minds. So what are the things that hold us back? Well, it's the things we hold on to. And I think I said last week, or maybe a couple weeks ago, holding on to the past is hard work. Just release it. Let it go. If it doesn't serve you, you don't need it. So what do we hold on to? Feelings of resentment. We hold on to memories of pleasure and pain. Old relationships that really don't serve us at all. We even hold on to people in our lives right now that, if we were honest, we don't need them in our lives. We don't want them in our lives. I was guilty of that, big time. In a 32-year marriage that should have lasted 10. I can speak to you of holding on to a relationship that doesn't serve you anymore. And if it doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve the other person either. Right now, there are tons of people desperate to hold on to things how it used to work. They want things to be just the way they think it ought to be. Each of us could add something to this list, something we don't want to let go of. How do we deal with it? Our spiritual work is to go within. Ask our higher self for direction. Higher spirit, should I hold on to the past? Yeah, I don't think you'll get an affirmative on that one. Higher spirit, should I release and find a new direction? Okay. A minister once told me, I was in this teaching, follow my passion. Allow spirit to guide and direct me at every stage. And I was one, I took a scuba class, and after about 3 sessions, the instructor said, I don't think I can teach you. I was like, what? I thought I was like the star of the class. And she said, you don't listen. You're trying to do what you think I want instead of what I tell you I want. I may have heard that before. This sounds like a familiar theme. So allow spirit to guide you, or your teacher, whoever that might be, that you're paying huge bucks to train and teach you. Maybe you should listen. But spirit, higher self, your ancestors, whoever, whatever you call on, allow that to guide you. You get a much better result. Don't dwell on what was, but listen to the guidance and move forward with confidence, knowing you're following Spirit. And you know when you follow Spirit, you feel better, your results are better. Not when you do what you think the teacher wants. In Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes tells us, if a man takes his images of thought only from his previous experiences, then he continues in the bondage which those previous experiences create. Jesus understood these great laws of cause and effect in the universe, which work sometimes with the apparent slowness, but always with sureness. Eventually, we shall understand that old human bondage is an invention of ignorance. Dr. Holmes had a way with words. And quoting Jesus always works pretty well, too. So if we are going to live the life that Spirit has in mind for us, we need to stop resisting, eliminate any belief in duality or separation from Spirit. At one time or another, each one of us has been guilty of what I'm frequently guilty of, and that's wanting to control the situation or another person. We can clearly see what's best for the other person. It's obvious what we think we know, based on our past experiences that have always led to the right and perfect outcome. Well, just know that when we do this, we are separating ourselves from our life in more good. Because when we're trying to control it, we're living in the little me, not the big I am. When you're trying to hold on to something, control the situation, the environment, sometimes we need and get from universe a gentle little reminder. I call it the 2x4 principle. It helps move us back into, a better place. A place where we surrender rather than control. I have personally received the 2x4 approach on many occasions. Sometimes it takes repeated doses. And then I go, oh, I wonder if I should release and let go. I can tell you the 2x4 effect is effective. But there's a better way. If you just tap into the infinite source that wants you to experience this good, you have a softer, gentler, better outcome. And this reminded me to include what I think is the greatest prayer of all time. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. Let Spirit guide this. I'm not as smart as I think I am. I'm not as qualified for everything as I think I am. I'm not the best scuba student in the class. Thy will be done. In a book called Unlocking Your Quantum Powers, Gene Houston tells us, let us again experience this light in an expanded way. To living in the light, to begin living outside your former cave of belief. No longer easily fooled by illusions, by shadow plays. You will not only see the true nature of reality, but you will begin to live with the knowledge that the universe is always at the ready to co-create with you. There's a pattern in the universe that wants to create. And each one of us are the key. Let it move through us daily, hourly, moment by moment. Another quote from Science of Mind. And this is Dr. Holmes quoting Jesus. When Jesus said, "Resist not," he meant that non-recognition of evil is the only way to avoid it. This is true recognition of evil. Oh, typo. I wrote that twice. Maybe I really wanted to emphasize it. This is true according to the law of cause and effect. For what we persist in recognizing, we persist in holding in place. That which we refuse to recognize, we neutralize. And it is no longer there so far as we are concerned. End quote. So when we set our intention, the universe instantly begins its work to manifest that for us. Some of you may recall the story that when I made the mental commitment to go to ministerial class in this teaching, within about a week, Reverend Rebecca called and said, "I'm going to have to leave. Would you like to take over as a minister?" And I was like, "I'm not a minister." "Yes, you are. You set your intention." Well, okay, that's Science of Mind 101. The instant you set your intention, it begins to manifest. I can't express how quickly it can happen based on your belief and intention putting it into the law. It's easy to think how it all should unfold. If you would have asked me, when will you become a minister? I said, 3-4 years down the road. And that's still going to happen. But here I am, sharing this story with you, because that's how I experienced it. We want to control how it all unfolds, but that's the hard way. Spirit wants direction from us on what we want, what our intention is, and then let go how it all comes about, how it manifests. It may come in ways we never could have imagined. The fruits of our co-creation are to be open to it all, and so much more. So much more. In 30 years of corporate life, I saw all kinds of management. Really talented management, arrogant management, buffoons. I saw it all. But I can tell you, those who really achieved long-term success were not motivated by personal acclamations. They weren't motivated by what they could get, what their department could get. They were motivated by what's right for the public we serve. Because it was an electric utility, electric, gas, and at the time, water for much of us. Those who achieved long-term success had the customer in mind, because that's how they were aligned with Spirit. They may not have had a clue of what they're doing spiritually, but they were looking out for the greater good, and they succeeded long-term. There were others who were bright, shining stars, and they came in and, were the superstar for a year or two, burn out, and they're gone. Mercenaries. They just didn't last. Not in our environment. I know that what I'm doing is what God, Spirit, has brought me here to do. That's a pretty good feeling. And that I embrace it. I enjoy it. There's no limitation in spirit. So I do what I do with confidence. When I started doing this last November, Sharon has told me many times, you've gotten better. That's because I quit worrying about what Stevie thinks, and I just worry about what I feel I'm supposed to, what Spirit is telling me. Makes me way more comfortable. I don't have to worry about what's going to come out, because I don't know what's going to come out about half the time. But I also have a contract with Spirit. And that when I am focused on Spirit's work, writing a talk, taking congregants' calls, working at the church, watering the plants, setting up the chairs, whatever, Spirit is involved in every aspect of that work. I won't say I'm perfect at it, but I'm getting a lot better at it. Just let it flow. 6 months ago, Sunday mornings with this few people, I would have been stressed the rest of the day. Today I look and go, wow, I think Kate told me, the right and perfect people are here. This is what it's supposed to be today. Each one of you got a call from Spirit. Today, I'm going to Circle's Edge. I'm going home. Thank you. Welcome. Nice to see you. But I'm certainly not going to stress about who is not here. We love them. They have something going on in their lives. I mean, I know a lot of people who, where they are, they tell us, okay. It's the ones that are here that answered the call. And it's not a call from us, it's a call from you. To enrich you. To enlighten you. I personally believe every single person who walks in this door is already an ascended master staying here on earth to achieve certain things. This teaching is not for everybody. It's kind of higher level stuff. You're all in the Ascended Master Graduate Program. I don't know if you knew that, but here you are. Relish it. Somebody say something?
I just yawned.
Oh, okay. I have about 3 more pages, but Spirit has a way of just telling me something else. This is Stevie work. This is spiritual work. But I will give you the conclusion. Knowing the universe is for us, we can confidently also know our prayer is answered before it is spoken. Your prayer is answered before you speak it. When you think it, it begins to work. And that was from Science of Mind, page 154.3 for those following along at home. So, let go of the past. Don't live in the old world of cause and effect. You are the cause. Our universal law is the cause. We are the effect. But live in the new world where we consciously co-create the life we want, or something better. And as the saying goes, build it and they will come. It being Spirit revealed. They being what you want. Build with Spirit and it will come. That's enough. Hopefully you've had some things to think about. I know you're different than when you walked in here this morning. You're either, wow, that was something to think about, or you're bored to tears, and that's okay. Both are perfectly acceptable responses to me. So, I thank you for being here. Each of you are the blessing at Circle's Edge. You are why we all come together in the morning, because you're all ascended masters. And so it is.
And so it is.